Hi, folks.
Yes.
I believe will be recorded.
I hope
Yes.
everyone can hear me okay. Maybe thumbs up or perfect. Okay. Are people able to see the slide presentation up on the screen? Okay.
Yes.
I'm not able to see that, so I'm gonna we'll proceed and hopefully it works out. Okay, so just a reminder that this is being recorded, so it'll be available to the folks here. It'll go up on the website in the future. So we'll keep some things, private information private, so that we don't have it historically recorded. Okay, so just a little reminder there.
To the right, and then we'll click on that with all the.
I'm learning something new with technology today, so this is fun. Okay, so today we are going to be looking at the use of AI in meal planning and meal preparation. It's kind of fun. There's a lot of different things you can do with this, depending on how involved you want to get with trying different things with AI. So I have a little bit of a video that we can play as well today to show you a different type of AI application and how you can put together bits of information. So we're going to show that as well. Okay, this is obviously being presented by the Brain Injury Association of Waterloo-Wellington, and this is funded by the Ontario Trillium Foundation. Okay, so this is the last workshop in this series. And at the end of this, we're going to have a number of different prompting guides available to you. I think there's going to be around 20 in total, and a number of these workshops available up on the site. Okay, so today's workshop, just an overview. We are going to look at what meal planning involves, the use of AI for it, and the different types of prompting. We're going to look at the different types of AI apps that are out there, and walk around some of the spaces so that you get to see what can be created, very simple forms of meal planning into very intricate forms, depending on what people are using it for, right? What people's needs are. You can do something where you have, using technology along with pen and paper, if you so desire, up to things that are, everything electronic based, including shopping for the groceries and having it delivered. Okay, so this is what we're going to end up looking at today. We are going to take the time as part of this workshop where I'm going to screen share and show you around some of the different sites. Okay. Okay, so meal planning, the basics of it are, it's the process that we're looking at deciding what types of meals we're going to have for a period of time. And this can be very intricate. It could be just deciding on different recipes. It could be breaking down the recipes into grocery lists. You can use AI to fine tune and say, I want all the recipes to only have 5 ingredients, no more, no less. You can say, I want, you can give prompts about, I want recipes or a meal plan that, is a certain price range. You can ask it to take into account different nutritional needs or dietary restrictions and needs. So these are things that we can do with AI in meal planning. A little tip I'm throwing in there to think about when you are cooking or in the kitchen, if you have the home devices like Alexa or the Nest, things like that, you can use it alongside the cooking that you're doing. You can set timers, or you can have it help you with conversion. So, you know, when we're switching from ounces to or grams to another format, we can use these tools to help us do that by giving verbal prompts. Some of the things that we could look for or think about when we want to decide, do you want to have recipes that involve cooking and using the stove, or do you want recipes that are non-cooking, something that you don't have to require heat to do? Do you want it to use or integrate certain tools in the kitchen? So some people might be like, I need recipes that are good for the air fryer, right? And so you can ask for recipes where you can develop meal planning with, you know, say you're just using a microwave and a toaster oven, you can do it that way. Or if you want to get really creative and do everything, you know, just in your air fryer, you can look at finding recipes for that too. Okay, so this is just an overview to kind of open up your mind to exploring different options that are out there, and to start thinking about, when you're meal planning or using AI for meal planning, what you think you might do. Okay, so I'm going to show a little bit, a little video. We're going to hope that we can get it connected. This is one that the team put together using a AI application called Notebook to create a visual and vocal display of what it takes to meal prep. It's a couple minutes long, so we will look at playing it. Do we have volume? Are people able to hear this? You can't hear. Did you do share sound? We're going to fix the sound here. Thanks for letting us know. In the room, we can hear. I guess it's not. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to stop share. We're going to bring it into the settings. There should be a little button to share audio.
Let's look at advanced sharing options. Maybe it's one of the people back and plus share screen will be a checkpoint.
Oh, yep.
There it is.
Oh, look at that. Okay.
And then,
this one?
yeah, this one.
So you keep hearing about AI everywhere, but you're not totally sure what it is or, how you're supposed to use it. Well, you're in exactly the right place. Over the next few minutes, we're going to clear up all that confusion and show you how you can turn AI into your own personal assistant for all sorts of everyday tasks. You know that feeling, right? That dread when you're staring at a mountain of paperwork. We're talking confusing government forms, super dense medical applications. It's a massive headache for everyone, and honestly, it can stop you from getting really important stuff done. But what if you had a personal assistant who was on call for you 24/7, someone who could just instantly explain a complicated topic, or draft a formal letter for you, or take a super confusing document and turn it into a simple checklist? Well, that's not science fiction anymore. That is exactly what AI can do, and we're going to think of it as your new go-to assistant. Okay, so who is this new assistant really? Let's pull back the curtain and take a look at what it's actually capable of. At its heart, AI is really just technology that's designed to think a bit like a human. It can learn things, it can reason, and it solves problems. So forget all the complicated jargon for a second. Just think of it as a really smart tool that's ready to help you out. And what it can do is, well, it's pretty amazing. Your AI assistant can take, say, a 50-page report and give you the most important points in just a few seconds. It can help you write the perfect professional email, break down a really complex topic, or even just brainstorm some creative ideas. It's like the ultimate multitasker. But, and this is a big but, before we just jump in, we have to talk about the single most important thing, and that is safety. Because just like with any powerful tool, you've got to know the rules of the road. It's absolutely non-negotiable. This is probably the best way to think about it. AI is like a public whiteboard. It's a fantastic place to brainstorm and work through ideas. But you'd never write your bank account number on a public whiteboard, would you? Of course not. It's a thinking space, not a secure vault. So here it is, the golden rule. If you remember one thing from this whole guide, make it this. Never, ever share your personal, sensitive information with an AI tool, period. So what does that actually look like? Well, it's totally fine to ask for a recipe, or a summary of a news article, or ideas for a vacation. But your private stuff, that stays private. That means no social insurance numbers, no health card numbers, no specific medical history. You just have to keep a really clear line between what's public and what's private. And hey, a few more quick tips to keep you safe online. Always, always double check that you're on a real, legitimate AI website and not some scammy lookalike. If you have to create an account, please use a strong and unique password. And always save your important work in a totally separate, secure file on your own computer. Think of it as your own digital safety net. Okay, safety briefing complete. Now for the fun part, having your very first conversation with your AI assistant. Let's learn how to actually give it instructions so it can start working for you. You're going to hear the word prompt a lot, but don't let it confuse you. All a prompt is your instruction. It's just you saying, hey, can you help me with this? That's it. It's how you start the conversation. Getting started is as easy as 1, 2, 3, 4. Seriously. First, just figure out what you need help with. Second, pick an AI tool. A lot of search engines even have them built right in now. Third, just type what you want in the box. And fourth, you hit enter and you watch the magic happen. Let's try a really simple, totally safe example together. Right now, imagine we just typed this into the chat box. Write a short motivational quote about learning new skills. See, it's clear, it's simple, and there's absolutely no personal information anywhere. And boom, just like that, the AI processes what you asked for and instantly creates a brand new, totally relevant piece of text. It really is that simple. You ask, and it answers. Okay, so now that we know the basics, let's connect this back to those real-world problems we started with, like trying to get through all that confusing paperwork. So instead of spending hours clicking around a government website trying to find what you need, you could just ask your AI assistant a direct question, just like this one. It'll cut through all the noise, find the information, and give you a simple checklist. Just think about all the time and frustration you'd save. Or here's another great one. A prompt like this basically turns your AI into an expert researcher. It saves you the headache of trying to navigate some complex website just to find the right, up-to-date form. It's all about working smarter, not harder. And hey, if you're ever stuck and just staring at a blank screen, here are some magic phrases to get you started. Explain this in plain language is a personal favorite of mine. It's like having a universal translator for jargon. Whew, we've covered a lot of ground, haven't we? From what AI even is to how to use it safely and actually get stuff done. So let's wrap it all up with the key takeaways that are going to guide you on your AI journey. So, to get the best results, you want to be really specific with what you're asking for. And don't be afraid to ask follow-up questions to get a better answer. Now, on the flip side, just remember, never include personal info. And don't expect it to be perfect on the first try. It's a conversation, not just a one-off command. All right, here's the bottom line. AI is an incredibly powerful tool to assist you, not to replace you. Your judgment, your common sense, those are still the most important things here. So just remember to put safety first, know that it takes a little practice, and most of all, stay curious. You now have the knowledge and the tools to get started. Every expert was once a beginner, and your own AI journey starts right now. So the only question left is, what's the very first thing you're going to ask your new assistant? The possibilities are pretty much endless.
And then uncheck. Okay, so yeah. Let's
Okay, so we are back to the.
let me just click on this.
Okay, there. Okay, so that was, a little wrap up. It was showing how some of the other AI tools can be used to create things that you need. So that was Notebook. So you could actually throw notes into Notebook and create a little dialogue, a little presentation. There was one on meals, which was supposed to be playing, but that one switched out. But that's okay. What it's going to look at is we went through the prompt steps, that part of the presentation, on what we can do to pick our topic, reminder about safety, and then we can look at how we're going to use it. So if I advance here, right, the little presentation we did looked at all these steps, right? Choose the task, choose the type of AI and put it in, hit submit. Okay, so let's take a look and a walk around some of the applications that are there, and try out some of the meal plans. We're going to have some of the prompts that we would typically use, and we can take a look at how that turns out. What I'm going to do is share my screen again and pull up ChatGPT.
Don't stop sharing.
Oh, I did.
You're a big dreamy.
This one. Go down. Okay. Can you see that? You have to share. Okay, so what I did here is pull up ChatGPT to help us start with creating a meal plan. Now, obviously, there's many different variations that we can take a look at, but we'll start with some basics. Okay, some of the things that, I would ask maybe someone in the chat to see what they're interested in taking a look at, and we can trial that out. So if someone has an example of what they would prefer to do. But we can look at, say, a weekly meal plan, maybe to start. We can look at budget friendly, or we can look at maybe a specific type of diet, right? So how about we start with a weekly meal plan we'll do dinners, We'll look at something on, with a budget breakdown. With seasonal produce was one of the examples here. So some of the different AI platforms that are out there, like we're using ChatGPT because it's a really simple one to use and navigate. But some of the other generative AI tools, if you're on Google, you can use Google Gemini. If you're on Microsoft, you can use Copilot. There is one that's called Jasper. There is a free trial, but it's usually a paid application. But if folks are interested in checking that one out, that also is helpful with taking notes and turning it into recipes and plans. Okay. But here we're going to do this. So some of the prompts that you could use are, create a 7-day dinner plan for a family of, 2, 3, 4, using affordable ingredients, right? So why don't we do that? So we're going to enter in a prompt and see what it does, right? You get to see if I can spell. I'm going to be a little bit more specific here. I'm going to say dinner meal plan for a family of, what do we want to do? 2, 4? What do people think? Let's do 2. And I'm going to you can change this number and see what it gives you, okay? And let's see what happens here, okay? Let's see what it spits out. So we've given it a prompt. I'm looking to the side because we're casting on the wall here. Okay, and it's given us a little bit of information here. So it's given us a grocery list without us asking, which is fine. We can actually utilize that to help us with the shopping. It's identified that we're here in Canada, so it's looking at some of the grocery places like No Frills or Walmart. We don't need it that specific because we might like to shop in other places, but there it's telling us that these particular places might be cheaper, right? But we're good shoppers and we shop around with our coupons. Yeah, we'd use price match, right? So this is what is suggested. And when I've done this before in past, some of the recipes you may like, some of them you may not. And this is where you get to start to decide and modify, right? So if you are someone who wants to or likes chicken, maybe this is for you. Maybe you don't like using frozen vegetables and maybe you like to use fresh vegetables that you cut up, right? This is asking for 1 cup of rice. Maybe you want to add in a different thing, right? So you get to choose or swap out. So here are some other suggestions, right? Spaghetti and meat sauce, veggie and bean chili, another chicken dish, roasted potatoes, tuna melts. So it's spit out a few things, but what if you don't like this? What if you want to have, say, vegetarian options? Well, we can ask it to provide us with that, right? If we want a low sodium diet, we can say, can you create something with, if you want gluten-free, you can ask it to provide gluten-free options. That might change the price point, but again, this is throwing out suggestions. We get to modify for our needs, okay? Down here, this is kind of neat. It gives an estimate, right? And we know that from store to store that this might vary. And sometimes, it might not be accurate, but we can take a look around, and find out whether we want to include these choices, right? Maybe we don't want beef products. Maybe we want. Maybe we prefer chicken. Maybe we don't like fish. Maybe we like our lentils and beans more, right? So we take what we like. This is a starting prompt, and we change it. Right? It's also given us, it's broken it down for us in, what are our proteins, what are our pantry or dry goods. That way, if we have it already, we don't have to go and buy it. Vegetables and produce, dairy, okay? And it gives us some suggestions if we would like to use this or not. So if we want it in a shopping list with check boxes, so we can take it to the store with us or put it or transfer it, the document onto our, device, our phone, so it's in our pocket. If we want to take these recipes and break them down into step by step, we could. But I want to change this. I'm going to say I want to take out anything with beef, just to show, and make other suggestions, right? Maybe I want to swap out the beef for vegetarian options. So I'm going to say, please let's see.
We don't really have a recipe, right? So
no, we're going to make a recipe.
Yeah.
We're going to ask for the recipes for these, right? So please, right now we're planning out the meals, right? So we want to create the recipes. So right now I'm going to give it the one prompt, which is to please take the above. Let's see what it does, whether it understood my prompt, right? And you can speak it. We can use the dictate option. I'm typing it in. Okay, and it's it's given us a full vegetarian dinner meal plan. So this might be, you might be like, well, it's not exactly what I wanted. I didn't want everything vegetarian. But what we can do is we can ask to keep some of the other recipes, right?
if you said only remove the beef,
Yeah.
leaving all the other proteins, like do you have to be that specific or?
Sometimes yes, sometimes no. Okay, this particular one, it changed it all to some vegetarian version, but it gave us some other options. What I think I might do is say, if I want to add in the prompt, hold on, I'm just switching between two screens here. Let's just do the vegetarian list for now. And we wanted to create the recipes, right, for the meal plan? What do we want to turn into? Right? Let me see. What do we want to do here?
Provide recipe.
Oh, yeah, let's do that. Why don't we say provide a recipe? So take the vegetarian 7-day meal plan and provide a recipe for each one. Step step-by-step instructions. Let's see what it spits out. Ah, there we go. So it's given us instructions, right? Okay, so this is telling us to cook the rice, prepare the tofu, drain the chickpeas, cook the vegetables, okay? So like any recipe I find, even the ones I find online, I do a little read through of the recipes just to make sure that they make sense. Sometimes I find, they might miss something. You might want to augment. Maybe you don't like that much. Um, maybe you don't want that much soy sauce. Maybe you want less. Maybe you want more. Maybe you can't stand garlic, so you want to take that out and add something. Maybe you want chili peppers in this and make it a spicy dish, right? So you change those things out if you'd like. You don't have to take it as is, right? Again, this is a tool. You get to decide and choose. Okay, so now you have these recipes. Okay, there's lots of other things that you can do. You can have it suggest healthy breakfast ideas. You can ask it to add a larger amount of protein. There's a lot of different things that you can do. You can say make the grocery list. This one already did it for us up top. Make a grocery list and organize by food type. You can ask it to include preparation time for each meal, right? Maybe you want to know, do I need, an hour and a half? Do I need 30 minutes? Maybe you want to specify recipes that only take 30 minutes. Okay. So these are things that you can do. At the end, I'm going to scroll down because remember there's seven individual recipes. There's different options that it allows you to do. So if you want these, you can ask it to select, then you can save it in a format of your choosing. Another thing that you can do, and we'll get out of this, but you can actually ask or just do a Google search or any type of search engine and say, I think we do it all the time where I'm like, I want to find a recipe, like a cookie recipe for the holidays, right? A ginger cookie recipe. And there's lots of different options. What you can do is start using your prompts or how you know how to make prompts to specify on just a general Google search, right? And then what you can do with that is take those recipes from your Google search, copy and paste them into something like ChatGPT or Copilot and get it then to create the lists and the plans and the meals. Okay. Yeah. So if you don't have to stick with these recipes, you can find the ones you love or that you're so used to, copy and paste the ingredients and throw it into ChatGPT and ask it to give you amounts for 2 people, 3 people, 4 people, or double it. You can ask it to double things like that. Okay. There's lots of other different types of AI tools that you can use. And I want to maybe show you 1 or 2 different things. They're apps that are designed specifically for meal planning. Okay. And they sometimes are paid, some of them are free, but if you're really, really into something like meal planning and you want to organize all your recipes in an application, if you want to break it down into, say, like Thanksgiving meals, and maybe you collect them as the years go by. If you want to plan out your meal, there's a few apps that do that. So I'm just going to stop share on this And I'm going to hopefully bring up a Google search to show you a different one, okay?
That would be great when, like, we're a family of 8 and sometimes more now, to have it multiply the recipe for you. Or
Yeah.
sometimes when it's just my husband and I've already doubled or tripled the recipe in my recipe box to bring it back down to just 2 people.
Yep. So you can take that recipe, even if you, you can copy paste, you can screenshot and upload it from your phone, that kind of thing. And then copy paste into ChatGPT and ask for that. Sometimes with, if you have your home, like your, home device, Alexa or Google Nest or things like that, you can also ask that. You can say, Alexa, please decrease, or what would, 3 cups be, I'll pick something simple, decrease 3 cups of rice in 2/3. Like what, and it will show you 1/3, right? Or like, this recipe is for 4 people. Change the quantity for a recipe with 2 people and see what it gives you, right? So you can utilize AI that way.
Do these meal planning apps, are they as powerful as GPT?
They're very specific. I'm gonna bring one up and I'm gonna show a little video on that. The applications they're designed very specific. The one I want to show you is called Paprika.
Oh, nice.
And there's a lot of other functions with it because it is an app that's designed specifically for meal planning, right? So this is when we're looking at generative AI and things like Google search or Microsoft Pilot or ChatGPT, it does 1 or 2 functions. When you have an app that's designed specifically for that, it gives you a lot more, there's a lot more templates and a lot more functions that are already pre-programmed to use. Okay, so we're going to stop share this. I'm going to see if I learned anything about casting onto the wall. Hold on. I wanted to do this video here.
Okay.
Hold on. So just doing the fun stuff right now.
Over everything that's in this far left-hand menu because that's basically home base. I'm going to do a quick overview of it all and then unpack each one. So the first thing in your main menu is your recipes list, which of course this is where you keep your recipes. It's really cool because you can keep everything in here and keep it nicely organized. Now, if you've just downloaded Paprika and you're looking for these folders here, these do not come on the app. These are ones that I've created myself. One of my favorite things is adding my sides over here. Usually I have a pretty good idea of what I want to cook as the main dish, but I often find myself stumped on what I want to do as a side dish. So that's why I have all of these categorized here. You can do a couple of other really cool things like organize by top rated. You can also favorite some of your recipes. So if you have some that are your favorites that you're going to a lot, you can get to those from the favorites menu. It's just basically a way, once you have this thing really, really full, to be able to find stuff that you're looking for really quickly. You also have a search bar up here as well. So if you have a ton of recipes, you can search within all of these folders to find the exact thing that you're looking for. Over here is the browser, and this is actually my favorite thing about this app because you can do so much with it. If you really don't know where to start, you're just using this for the first time, trying to get into meal planning and cooking for the first time, they have aggregated a whole bunch of kind of the top apps online. So if, say, you're just sitting in bed, you're trying to do your meal planning and you don't really have much inspiration, you can click on any of these websites and it will just go ahead and pull up a whole bunch of recipes for you. So at night, this is what I like to do sometimes, is sit down, look for recipes that I like, and consider adding those to my recipe list. Now, I'm going to get into this a little bit more later, but it's important to note, you see, this one's actually really short, which I appreciate, but a lot of times when you look at recipes online, you get like this big, bloggy, fluffy thing at the top, and you have to scroll forever to get to the actual recipe, which can be pretty frustrating for me sometimes. There's also ad placements that pop in, and this app just has the coolest way to get around that. So when we get back here, just remember this. I'm going to show you how Paprika accounts for that in a second. Next, you have your grocery list, which is pretty self-explanatory. It's just where your shopping list goes. What I personally like about this is you can do multiple lists. So right now I just have one, but let's say I know there are certain things that I shop for at Publix and other things that I know I can only get at Whole Foods. I could actually create a Whole Foods grocery list here and save it. And now I can actually say, all right, here's just the things that I need at Whole Foods versus the things that I need just in my grocery list for Publix and things like that. Next is pantry. I haven't used this a whole lot, but it's a pretty cool concept. It's basically a way for you to keep track of what you have in your pantry and your fridge so that when you're making your recipes, you can know what you already have. This is your meals tab. This is really cool because you can plan out all of your meals for the week right here. You can see a day view, which is basically this is what I'm cooking tonight. I can open this up in the morning and know what I need to thaw out for dinner. I can see the week more broadly. I like being able to do this because if someone in my household is telling me they have a certain event at a certain time in an evening, I can kind of plan out a meal that I know is going to be quick to cook so that they can get to their event. And you can also see the month view, which is really helpful if you have a family who complains when you cook things too often. This actually shows you exactly everything you've cooked within this month, so you know how often you've done it. Then you have your settings tab, which is really cool. You have a cloud sync, which allows you to be able to sync across devices, which means you can put this on your tablet, on your phone, on your desktop, whatever else. And then you have just a few other aesthetic things that you can change around. Your font size, how things are categorized. You can choose which day you want the week to start, whether Sunday or Monday. Just a whole bunch of really cool things you can do in here. So this is going to be the last I show this tab because it's not as relevant, but just know there's a lot of things you can do here. You can also
Okay, so that was an introduction to an app. There's many different apps, but just to show you or allow you to walk around what is out there, you can, I'm not endorsing that particular one, but that is one that allows you to search function the internet for various recipes you like and then upload them into the application. You can do that in a roundabout way to some of the other things like ChatGPT or Microsoft. You find your recipe, you would highlight it or download it and then upload into the app, right? Or upload into ChatGPT if you wanted to. Okay, so again, that's just one application. If you wanted to know about more, you can do a Google search and ask for different current applications. Just not a funny note, but a little side note is that when I've looked for meal prep apps in the past, some of the ones that they suggested don't exist anymore. So there's a a change or a rapidly changing applications out there, and they're getting more sophisticated. They're able to merge a lot of different features. So, just if there is a suggestion through ChatGPT or another platform, generative AI platform, double check to make sure the app exists, right? So take a walk through the app. I find it helpful to look at some of those videos on YouTube or on the internet that walk you through the app so that you can see how it functions and if it's suitable for yourself, okay? One of the things, I got to get my cursor back over here, is we could ask. So please. Yeah. And I'm going to give it a specific thing. Include grocery lists, right? Again, if I can spell. Okay. And let's see what it generates for us. So you're gonna, there's most available in Canada, so that's what you want. So paprika is there, but this is neat in the sense that it'll show you, and I just a thumbs up to make sure people can see the list of ChatGPT that we put in. This will show you some of the different meal prep apps out there. So there's a lot. So you can. I just showed you paprika today because I thought that was a neat one. But there's lots of other ones you can use. Some of them will be a little bit more condensed, maybe have fewer options. So part of the fun thing about AI and some of the technology that's out there is browsing through and deciding what you like and what fits your needs the best, right? You might want to just pick the ones that have free applications. You might decide that hey, I like this and I want to pay for a subscription for a period of time. So that's, up to you and what your budget is and what's useful for you. Okay. So when we're, if I go back to this, it also indicates how it can be used across devices. So if you have an Android phone, and then like an Apple product computer, you might want to look to see if they can talk to each other or not, right? So like this one, meal board, it plans the meals. It'll automatically generate your grocery list for you, but you'd have to do a lot of manual uploading of recipes, which might be totally fine because you might have stored recipes yourself before or created them, and you're good with transferring it over. Okay, so I wanted to show you some of the options that you can use. Okay. If with the applications, the function of the calendar is actually really great. But there's also other spaces that have, you can ask or use AI to create actual paper documents if you're someone that likes to write and post and put on the fridge. So maybe you need it for family members and you don't want to walk your tablet around or your phone around. So you can go into the different applications. Canva even has quite a number of meal prep documents. You can ask Google search engines or internet engines to show you lists or create lists on ChatGPT that you can printable forms, right? And maybe it's something you sit down with. Maybe you do all the work on the recipes online, but you have a printable calendar that you've either typed in or handwritten your recipes, and that goes up on in the kitchen on the wall for the rest of the family, right? So there's many different ways that we can utilize it, and there's many different prompts that we can give. So the idea is to really think about if meal planning is something that maybe you struggle with, or maybe like me, over time you get it becomes a boring chore and you don't know what to cook anymore. Then this is helpful in the sense of that it can create new options or suggest new things for you. And if we go, I know this is up here right now. So, at the bottom here, it says it can expand the list. There's lots and lots of apps. The other thing you can do is go into your, if you go into the Android or the Apple, the app store, you can take a look and see what meal planning apps they have there. But this is a great, using the generative AI, the Google searches, the ChatGPT platforms, the Microsoft Copilot. This is one where it can pull things for you and create. And then all you have to do is tweak it to fit your individual needs. Okay, so if you don't like some of these suggestions, that's fine, right? You adapt the meal. Maybe you want to create a calendar where you put all, maybe you have a rotating 2-week recipe schedule, right? Maybe Taco Tuesday is not every Tuesday. Maybe it's every third Tuesday, right? So it can create that space. It can help generate a framework where you have a rotating recipe schedule. Okay. When you do this, or when you're creating, remember to save what you like, right? So some of the suggestions might not be recipes you like, but you can also remember download recipes you like. You can ask it to remove a recipe and include a recipe, or you can use the suggestions and as suggestions, right, as a starting tool to get your, get the creative juices flowing, so to speak. Okay, so that's how we can use and create different meal plans. Okay.
How do we save a recipe?
Right. So depending on what you're here, let me get my cursor back on to here. This one. Yeah.
I asked it to make it as a PDF.
Yeah. So if I go back to my plan here, we can ask it to, we can type in the prompt, please take the 7-day meal plan and create a printable PDF, right? And then that you can save. If you have trouble or if you don't like how it looks, you can ask it to create the PDF and then you share or you download, okay? But you can also do the good old cut and paste. Maybe you want to take one out and you have another function. Maybe you want to transfer it over into an application or something else. You can do that, okay? So yeah, I tend to download, a printable PDF.
That's exactly what I would do too. I have a custom GPT that's strictly Mediterranean diet and based on my family of 3. And I have so many PDFs created, but I save them in a folder on my desktop. And it's ironically, I just asked it what is the best meal prep app that I can collaborate with my custom GPT, and it says Paprika.
Yeah, paprika seems that's the one that comes up because I think it's fluid, like it allows you to work across many platforms. So that's the one that I wanted to show. There's, I haven't obviously trialed so many, like I haven't trialed a lot of different meal plan apps. I've gone through a few over the years and they become more sophisticated. But that's a really neat one. I also back in the day would store, like I have a meals folder on my desktop as well on my computer. Because I found over the years you'd clip or you'd save it, you'd be like, oh, I like that. And then you would never be able to find it later. So I got in the habit of transferring it into a folder as well. But the next step in this, like you said, is breaking it down into grocery lists or breaking it down into, um, a meal plan for the week, right? So yeah, that's it. It's have fun exploring, but think about what you want to do. If it's useful, what you need out of it, right? What your likes are, what your family needs are. If it's useful to have the grocery list, great. If it's not, don't worry about it. If it's useful to have the recipe or say, cut this recipe in half, ask it to do it, right? Double check the work though. Do a little, just a read through to make sure it's correct. Make sure, the 1 cup went to half a cup, but it's a little bit more helpful. I find I use search engines a lot to do like transferring from one unit of measurement to another, right? When recipes are in grams versus, metric versus then, I find it useful to pop it into a search engine and do those conversions for me instead of having to work it all out.
I like to write my grocery list as how I go through the store.
There you go.
I don't miss anything.
You know what? You could also, okay, so I'm not sure if everyone heard, but one of the things that someone said was taking the grocery list and writing it out based on the floor plan of the grocery store. So if you're going into the produce section first, then you would have those things at the top. I wonder if you can throw the grocery list into a search engine and ask it to separate it out first, and you just give it the categories that come first, veggies, and then it does all the work for you.
Yeah.
Try it.
Well, let me see if we can use something that's here, right?
You can probably do it with the Atlas, OpenAI's browser.
Yeah, you probably could. I think it did. If I scroll up for a second, I know in here it separated it out. See that? Pantry dry goods, proteins. So, these were but down here, the grocery list. So you could take the grocery list and put it into sections. So it can do it. And I think the prompt up top, it's done it for us. Let me see.
That's my biggest pet peeve is the scroll up.
The scrolling, yeah.
Yeah.
This one I just playing around. If I like a specific chat, I tend to just end that chat and keep it to the side and start a new one. I just copy and paste the prompt I want, right? If I like it, and then it is less of this work. But because we were fiddling around and fooling around on this, just popping in different things, they called it for this on this particular app, ChatGPT, they called it master grocery list, right? So maybe using that wording later to say, take the grocery items and create a master grocery list in sections, right? It seems that ChatGPT can already do this, so using that same prompt would probably give you the same or similar result, right?
If you don't like to scroll too much, you can actually ask
Fine.
ChatGPT to actually do a graph or
Find.
lay it out so that there's less scrolling required. So you can ask that and it will do it.
Cool. Look at that. So yeah, so this is great. See, part of the discussion is also learning from other people. So thank you for that. I don't, that's what I have for this. I'm going to try to get back to the main screen. I wanted to show you Paprika. I wanted to show you some of the different apps, and I wanted to work through creating some recipes in that. But part of, if I go to, hold on, I just need a,
Tab on this window, just that one.
oh, I can do it from there.
Yeah, just open
Okay.
the tab.
Oh, look at this. It's still sharing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yay. You can see things that I've opened for work. Yumly. I think that was one that it doesn't exist anymore. So
That doesn't exist anymore? Wow.
I think that one was one, if I remember correctly, that had started up and then they discontinued it. I might be wrong. It might be a different search one, but I think it was Yumly. Anyway, I lost my train of thought. I was going to look at, so yeah, recipes, right? Let's think about something we want to look up. Anyone have a suggestion? Chicken pot pie?
I don't even like chicken pot.
Someone who doesn't like chicken pot pie suggested chicken pot pie.
Tell it to replicate Costco's.
Okay. So,
oh, you're in Google.
Yeah, I'm in Google for a reason. So you see how there's all these different types of, you look, this is overwhelming for me sometimes because you have all these suggestions and part of it, sometimes I look at the picture and that's what draws me in. But I find, or sometimes I look at the rating, right? Whether a lot of people liked it or not. Sometimes I look at how long it takes to make it.
3 hours and 25 minutes.
That, I don't know. That, so sometimes I change what I'm, the suggestion based on it. But if you find this part overwhelming, I sometimes do this just, you look and see what suggestions, and it's a downtime kind of thing, and you save the ones you like for later, right? But if you like a specific recipe, so let's just go with all recipes because I haven't gone through Sally's baking addiction, so I don't want to open it up. But look at what AI overview has done. This is what I wanted to get to, right? It shows us some recipe places, but it also shows us like a basic, this is what now AI has done. It's built in these features into our search engines, right? So something, this might be the easiest thing to do is take the simple form. And if it's what you like, you can grab this, right? Instead of scrolling through the instructions, right? So that's, AI is throwing us some pretty cool options these days, right? We get picture formats, we get, look at deeper dive in AI mode. These are features we have, right? What do we want to ask it? This is through Google. This is not even chat. So we've asked for a chicken pot pie recipe. What do we want to do with this now?
What other things can you put in the filling?
How about
Or substitutions.
substitutions? Okay, so please
Make it gluten free.
let's see what happens with the AI mode for Google. I haven't worked a lot with it, but why don't we try it out, right? So what did,
if you have like thighs instead of breasts.
okay, so
Breast.
please, what did we want to do? Please, what was the suggestion?
Gluten free, was it?
But okay. Substitute the. So someone doesn't like their celery. Let's look. Yeah, someone didn't like their celery. So.
And their celery seed, I think, was in the recipe too.
Oh, look at you. Good eyes, eh?
And
Well, we can remove that, right? Okay, hold on. Substitute gluten ingredients for for gluten-free, sorry. We're just removing.
making a new recipe.
Let's see what it does. I'm very curious. Let's see if it actually does it, right?
We just put half a chopped zucchini or something, right? I usually just do that.
Ooh, look at this. Look at this. This is fun. Let's see. Oh, it's asking, it's just saying use the gluten-free all-purpose flour blend. Ensure, you have to ensure apparently that it contains that. Cool.
And it removes the celery, it didn't substitute it.
No, I just said
But she
remove.
said remove. Yeah. Originally, I
Yeah.
think she was kind of set, but she said remove. Yeah.
I substituted the gluten. Yeah. Oh, and look at this for reliable gluten-free pie crust recipes. And
So I wonder if it added, can you see if it added more of the peas and carrots?
ooh, that's a cool thing to look at, eh? So here we have a cup of
One
sliced
cup of
carrots,
each.
and the
What
previous
did
one. Sorry. Ooh,
It was 2/3 before.
this is interesting. It's up here. Okay, never mind.
Oh,
No.
yeah,
What's
still.
it saying?
Okay, it just
I wonder if
literally
it just
removed
added
it.
a little bit more from that half cup. I thought it might have like just
Changed
to
it
make
that
me,
way?
like it fuller, right?
So folks, even if you're not opening ChatGPT, it looks like if you're going to use the AI mode, the function, they're catching up to one another. I'm noticing. So it looks like you can do it just from your Google search engine as well. Okay. And then if this format is easy for you and you needed to cut and paste or ask it to in a printable form and then save it, you can do that as well. Okay. Anything else we wanted to look at? So we've kind of explored some of the prompts you can use. We know that we have to check it. We know we have to make sure that it makes sense. If it's making a suggestion for an application, you want to go and actually search for the app, make sure it's an actual app, and and try it out to make or open it up to see if it still exists. Just like I had done some searches and found that some of them didn't exist anymore. Okay. Look at videos that walk you through it to give you a little sense of how it works. And then just try it out. Anything that you don't like, you can see that you can change. Tastes are very individual. Family needs or diet restrictions are very, very from person to person. You might, my mom can't have or has to reduce vitamin K from her diet because it's contraindicated with certain medications. So she'll often look or choose recipes that don't have or a less amount of vitamin K, right? So you can look at things like that. Okay, you can ask those questions and see what it tells you, right? If you have someone like a dietitian that's on or works with you, or I would before you take suggestions on like certain supplements and things like that, I would check that with any physician or practitioner that's overseeing your care. But this is just for planning, right? This is just give me some ideas, map it out for me, make my life easier so I don't have to write it all down or transfer it. Put it into a calendar so I don't have to do it myself. Rotate it for me. Those things. It's a tool. It's a useful tool, but it takes a little time to navigate, change it, try it out to see what you like, and get what you want. If you want something more sophisticated, you can use the search engines for some of this, the basic formats and that. If you want something a little bit more sophisticated or integrated, for you it might be an app that you like. Okay, so you can try those. All right, and that is, I'm going to stop share this. Do I just close this?
You want to stop sharing forward?
Yeah. Why don't we stop share? Yeah. Okay. And I think what I'm going to do, I can close this one anyway.
Yeah.
There we go. We're back here.
You have to reshare it.
I'm just going to see. Okay, that's it. I could share the screen. It says thank you. So that's our exploration of some of the meal prep and meal planning. And we'll have the prompt guide up on the site, which just shows you different prompts you can use to ask for things in meal preparation. But this was a little bit more to walk through some choices and options and what it looks like when you're actually doing it. Okay. So any questions? I hope I would be able to answer them. Might not be able to, but we can always look in it. We can always ask AI.
All right, I'll go ahead and I'll end the recording now. So thank you, Laura. And once we end, we'll open up the floor for questions and discussion.